What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video. It is game week 13 time, the game week we've been planning for. Arsenal and Manchester City assets are hot property. Today we're having a look at my first transfer plans. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video. FPL Harry here, and today we are having a look at my game week 13 transfer plans. It is the week we've been waiting for. Manchester City and Arsenal have their nice run of fixtures between now and the World Cup. 4 game weeks to go, and we'll be having a look at some of their key assets that I think you and me should be buying in our teams. My team for game week 13 is looking like it does. Now, before we dive into the video, we're going to try and hit 1,000 likes. I'm currently in Amsterdam, the final leg of my trip. So once and finally, an apology for any audio or visual issues with the video, but I think it should be fine. Hopefully the setup is a little bit better. But yeah, if you could like the video before we go any further. But my game week 13 team is lining up as it is on screen. We do have Gaeta in goal. Quite happy with him. Again, he didn't get anything for me in game week 12. A little bit of a disappointment, as I did have double Crystal Palace defense. His Crystal Palace teammate in Gay has dropped last to my bench. We then have a back three. Cancelo comes back in, of course, after his blank game week. Castagna is currently starting with Doherty in there as well. Not 100% sure if I'm going to start Doherty or I'm going to start Trippier, again playing against each other going into game week 13. A midfield four at the moment of new transfer in Salah, who came into my team for game week 12. We then, of course, have Zaha, who did get that late goal in game week 12. Very happy with that. Again, he's not been that vocal, but he has been put centrally at the latter stages of recent games as well. And then Martinelli comes back in, and at the moment we're lining up with Trossard, but he has a Manchester City fixture. And then up front, Haaland comes back in again. So my 3 blank players come back into my starting lineup, and then we have Mitrovic and we have Dom Solanke all starting. I have 5 million in the bank and then 1 free transfer to play with. So again, like the video before we go any further, but let's have a look at some of those Arsenal and Manchester City assets, because I'm definitely looking at how I can get some of them back into my team for game week 13. So we're going to start in Arsenal, where it is a little bit more difficult. I only own Martinelli. Now, at the bottom of the screen, you have their fixtures for the next 4 game weeks. They have Southampton this week, then they have Nottingham Forest, followed by Chelsea, followed by Wolves. So a good fixture, not quite as nice as Manchester City's run of 4 that we will see. Now, I've got 5 assets up on the screen for you here. We've got Bukayo Saka, we've got Martinelli, we've got Gabriel Jesus, then we have Gabriel, and we have Saliba as well. Before we go any further, it is worth noting that both Jesus and Saliba are on 4 yellow cards. That means if they pick up a yellow card in any of the next 3 games, they will be suspended for the following match. So this means that these 2 fall way down the priority order for me going and transferring any of these guys in. Martinelli for me still holds the best value of any of those midfielders in the game. If you don't have Martinelli, I would definitely consider and prioritize going and getting him in at the moment. Again, we looks like Smith Rowe is not going to be featuring for Arsenal for quite a few weeks still. So if that's the case, and it looks like it is, then we're not going to see any rotation for Martinelli out on that left-hand side. Of course, they do play on Europe on Thursday evening, so it is worth bearing in mind exactly who starts in that match, and if there's any injury concerns, I'll be waiting to see that before I make any transfers, but I am hoping that most of their first team assets are rested in that one. Again, we look in midfield. Saka coming in at 7.9 million is a really nice option. It looks like he's on penalties as well. Him and Martinelli are my top 2 favourites for the attacking positions, because Jesus has 4 yellow cards. Then we look in defence, and if you are wanting to triple up, you could also go up front with a triple attack, but with Jesus being on 4 yellows, I think a lot of us will be looking in defence. Now, Saliba has been very transferred in. He's actually increased by 0.6 million from the start of the season, which is now up to the same price as Gabriel, but him being on 4 yellow cards, again, I would look elsewhere. Now, the fullbacks is a bit of a nightmare. Left back, we've seen quite a few number of options playing in that position. We had Tierney, we had Zinchenko. We've actually seen Ben White and Tomiyasu both play on that left-hand side as well. Zinchenko is likely to miss game week 13 and potentially game week 14 as well, but we don't know that means that Tierney is nailed in that position. Again, on the right-hand side, Ben White looks set to start most games, but Tomiyasu could definitely reduce his minutes and come on for a sort of 50th minute sub. So if you are looking to buy an Arsenal defender at the moment, Gabriel as a centre-back with his goal threat is definitely the only one that I'll be buying at the moment. So the ones that I'm really looking at for my team, I've got Martinelli. Saka is a definite transfer in. I may then look for a defender or Jesus if he has served his 5-match suspension. Next up is Manchester City, and it's slightly more obvious who should be picking, I think, from Manchester City. Again, their fixtures on the horizon are fantastic. You need to be looking at a Manchester City triple up over the next few game weeks. Brighton, Leicester, Fulham, Brentford, 3 of those fixtures being at home as well, whereas Arsenal have 3 away fixtures. Manchester City have a nice run with 3 of their fixtures being at home. Haaland, again, is a no-brainer for a lot of us, as is João Cancelo. I do think you should be having one defender in your team. In Cancelo, again, he's the most nailed, and he has the attacking threat, both from open play, goal threat, and assist threat as well. So for me, Haaland and Cancelo are no-brainers. If you don't have Cancelo in your team at the moment, I would definitely prioritize getting him in, but maybe not quite as high as his teammate Phil Foden. Phil Foden versus Kevin De Bruyne is quite close in the amount of points I expect him to score, but with Kevin De Bruyne being much more expensive, you have to think that Foden is better value for money. For me, Foden into my midfield is much more important than getting Kevin De Bruyne back into my team, who I sold for Mo Salah. I expect him to score very similar points, but Foden has shown that he is better attacking threat than what we're going to get with Kevin De Bruyne at the moment. So for me, Cancelo, Foden, and Haaland is the triple up that we should all be looking to get into our teams from game week 13, if not game week 14 at the latest, when they do go away to Leicester. You might be looking at the likes of a Kanji for double defense, or instead of Cancelo, for me, I wouldn't be doing that. I'd want double attack, and it would be Foden and Haaland, and it would be Cancelo as well. So this is my team for game week 13. 1 free transfer in the bank. I am pretty certain I'm going to use 1 free transfer to move on Trossard, who I just brought in for this week, and bring in either Bukayo Saka or Phil Foden. Again, waiting for press conference quotes, waiting for any potential news on the Arsenal lineup in Europe as well before deciding which of them I will go for. At the moment, I think I will favour the home fixture of Foden as well. He's had a full week off playing against a Brighton side that don't look that great at the moment. So Foden is the one I think about 75% chance I will be bringing into my team. I also need to decide on Doherty versus Trippier to be starting in my team, or do I start both and just bench Castagna of Leicester? Let me know what you think about my team. Would you go Foden or would you go Saka? Drop any questions you have in the comment section down below. We're trying to hit 1,000 likes on the video. Thank you all so much for watching again. Good luck in the remainder of game week 12. Good luck in game week 13 if I don't see you before then, but there will be a team selection video and a live stream. Thank you all so much for watching. Like and subscribe before you go, but I'll be back again very soon.